Yes, welcome back to Classic Dirt Bike TV and welcome to round 2 of the Scottish Classic Scrambles 2024 Championship right here at Wittas Park. Right, so welcome back to the final episode of the racing highlights from the Scottish Classic Round 2 event from Wittas Park in Bassenthwaite. So let's get straight into our next race, which of course is race 17, and this is the pre-77s along with the under-60s and 125s. So as the riders shoot from the line, it's that man again, number 416, Mike McClarty, appears to have got the whole shot on his little CR 125. Liston Bell is in second position there. So Liston's made a good start on the big 4-stroke Jawa bike. Now you can see just how dry the track is now since our last episode 2. The track very dry now, so the dust is certainly beginning to fly here at Wittas Park. But we've certainly been blessed with the weather today, because if the weather gets bad here at Wittas Park, it can turn into quite a bleak afternoon here up on the hills. But it's first class weather conditions at this point. So it's still Mike McClarty, your race leader, from number 98 Liston Bell. I think that's number 86 is Mike Dalton in third place, and we are looking at number 51, that's Mark Silverton in fourth on his CR 125 Honda. But Mike McClarty again has made a good start in this race. He's already won, I think, 3 or possibly 4 races this afternoon. So yet again he's beginning to open up a lead on the second place man, which I think was still Liston Bell the last time that we had a look. So Mike McClarty certainly on his way on his little Honda. And even although this is just a small little 125, you can see how quick and nimble this little bike is around this Wittas Park racetrack. There's your second place man in the background there, number 98 Liston Bell on the 4-stroke Jawa single. Remember, we saw Liston out on his lovely Triumph Tribsaw in one of the previous races. A lovely sounding machine, but the big single Jawa doesn't have the same sort of tune to it. But there's your third place battle between number 51 Mark Silverton and number 86, which is Mike Dalton. So these 2 riders both exchanging third and fourth positions at a regular rate here. So this is a good scrap here for this track position. And as they cross the line to start another lap, it looks like Mark Silverton has got the advantage over number 86 Mike Dalton. So Mark Silverton certainly on his way here in third position. There's your man of the moment, certainly the dominant force in the 125 class here this afternoon, Mike McClarty, number 416. Riding what I'm pretty sure is a 1989 CR 125 Honda. Number 98 Liston Bell is currently still in second position, so this has still been a good afternoon for Liston. He had a bit of trouble in the first race with one of his bikes, but since then he's been up at the sharp end of the pack in almost every other race that he's taken part in. Just coming towards us there is number 68, that's Aidan Phillipson on his little Yamaha. Number 721 is Ewan Britton, but looks like Aidan's dropped his little Yamaha temporarily, but he appears to be okay. Hopefully he'll get that bike fired up and on his way as soon as possible. So here's your front pairing as they head towards the checkered flag. It's still Mike McClurty, number 416, who leads Liston Bell, but it looks like Mike McClurty's got enough of a gap to secure this win. So it's been another good performance there from Mike on that little CR125 Honda, and it's going to be Liston Bell who crosses the finish line in second. So that very nicely brings us on to race number 18, and this will be the pre-77s over 60s and 65s. So these are basically more of the veterans of the Classic Racing Club. It looks like Peter Gerrard's made quite a good start there on his old BSA, so but it looks like Andy Malik has hit the front on the 360 CZ two-stroke bike. So it is indeed Andy Malik, number 43, the man from Burrelton in Angus in Scotland. So Andy's off to a good start in this race. So as our race leader makes his way towards us, it's still number 43, Andy Malik, on the 360 CZ, the steel erector from Angus. In second position is number 9, that's Mike Bell on the BSA Gold Star. Peter Gerrard is in third position on his BSA. Number 5 is Gordon Watson going through on his old BSA, but Andy Malik certainly made a good start in this race as he heads up the hill once again to begin another lap. And Andy tends to switch between this CZ two-stroker and of course his other bike, his Spanish Montesa. So Andy's yet another one of the club members who usually brings along a couple of bikes to these race meetings just in case something happens to one of his race bikes, but Andy's always got plenty of bikes to fall back on. Second place is still this man here, number 9, Mike Bell on the BSA Gold Star. So Mike as well has had quite a good day here at Wittas Park. Number 34 is Peter Gerrard, and just going through there is number 6, that's Richard Palmer. And remember that we had a look and even a listen to that bike when we were doing our paddock walkabout. Now that number 34 bike there, Peter Gerrard, is the man that makes those gearbox linkage conversions for those old two-stroke CZ machines. So if you were in the market for one of those modern style shifters, then Peter Gerrard is certainly the man to talk to. So here's your race leader, number 43, Andy Malik, as he tends to tell me about my pronunciation, but Andy going very well here on the CZ. Andy currently does steel erecting as his day job, and of course he likes to ride his old Montesa and CZ at these classic scrambles at the weekend. So it's still Mike Bell just going through there in second position. Mike Bell's got quite a decent lead over this third place man, just making his way down the hill. I think that's John Sinnott there, number 411 on the CZ, and he's been chased by, I think that's number 601, that will probably be Mark Witham, who is on his CZ. So John Sinnott and Mark Witham having quite a good little scrap there out on those Czechoslovakian two strokes. Now, the next item on the agenda here at Classic Dirt Bike TV will be the Westmoreland Motor Club's fantastic Helsington Classic Scramble this coming weekend, and of course I'll be there to cover all of the bikes and all of the racing on the track, and you can see everything that went down over the course of that weekend on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't already subscribed, then it might be a good opportunity to do that very small thing. So here's your race leader. It's still number 43, Andy Malik, on the CZ. Number 9 is currently Mike Bell, still going well on his old Rickman Classic BSA Gold Star. And we've still got that little fight going on for third and fourth places between number 411, that's John Sinnott, and number 601, Mark Witham. The curse of the commentators strikes again. There was me telling you that Mark was doing quite well on his bike and he ends up dropping it, but it looks like Mark is okay, so hopefully he'll rejoin that race without losing any track positions. But here's your current race leader as he heads towards the checkered flag, so this is going to be quite a good win here for the man from Burrelton in Angus in Scotland, number 43, Andy Malik. So it's a win for Andy Malik, and it's going to be a good second place here for this man, number 9, Mike Bell, on the BSA Gold Star. So we're now moving on to race 19, and this is the pre-1984s under age 58 years. So basically these are the youngsters of the Classic and Twin Shock racing. Another good lineup of bikes at the line. Look out for that man there on the right, number 291, Robert Smith. He had a good race in the previous race. As the riders leave the line and head into turn 1, it looks like a cracking start there by number 55, Keith Barnes. He went right round at the outside and appears to have got the advantage going in to turn 2. So it's Keith Barnes, your race leader. But if you look to the top of the track there, it looks like Graham Riley has some kind of problem with his big 480 Honda. Graham has been absolutely dominant in this class throughout the afternoon, but he appears to have some kind of mechanical issue with the big Honda, and it looks like Graham's heading for a DNF in this race. But certainly no such problems for the man at the front of this pack. It's still Keith Barnes, number 55 on the CCM, who leads at number 291, Robert Smith. But Robert Smith looks like he's going to go down the inside, and it's now Robert Smith, your race leader, with Keith Barnes in second. And in fact, in third place is that rider that we couldn't identify in the previous video, and we've now managed to track his name down. It is, of course, Mark Brockhurst, who is now in third position. So once again, apologies to Mark for not being able to find his name in the timesheets. But there's Graham Riley heading back to the paddock. I don't know what's went wrong with that 480 Honda. It looks like some kind of transmission or chain problem, but hopefully Graham will get that bike sorted and be back out for the last race of the day. But back on track again, we're picking up our race leader. It's still number 291, Robert Smith on the Michael, who leads number 55, Keith Barnes on the CCM. Mark Brockhurst looks like he could possibly have passed Keith there for that second position, but there's your race leader completing another lap. That's Robert Smith. Second now is Mark Brockhurst. Keith Barnes is still in there fighting in third position as we take a look at the rest of the chasing pack crossing the line. Just making his way past there, I think that was number 231, that was Jeff Wharton, and that was number 89 that went through there. I think that could be Graham Smith on the big Myco there as he makes his way up the hill. So we're back with our race leader again, number 291, Robert Smith, which I think is a bike that Robert's dad used to race some years ago before it was all changed to the black livery. So I certainly know that bike very well, and we're back with a battle for second and third between Mark Brockhurst in second and number 55 Keith Barnes in third. So Keith Barnes again putting in another fine performance on that big CCM 4-stroker, which of course is a bike that Keith put together just using spare parts that he had lying around the workshop. So Keith going very well here on the old CCM. So you can see the weather absolutely beautiful now here at Wittas Park, and if you didn't know any better, you could maybe even swear that this was a race that was taking place in some of the nice sunny climes in the USA or other countries, but these guys are certainly lapping up these beautiful conditions here in Scotland at this round 2 event. So we're looking at number 94 there, that's Mark Brockhurst on the 1981 490 Michael, being chased by number 55 Keith Barnes on the 4-stroke CCM. So here's your race leader crossing the line to complete another lap, number 291 Robert Smith, using that berm in the corner to maintain the speed to get that slingshot to head up the hill. So we're just watching some of the other riders crossing the line to start another lap. I think that's number 231 just going through there again. That's Jeff Wharton on the big Michael. Number 281 there on the Suzuki is another rider who unfortunately is not listed in the race programme. So we're back with our race leader again, number 291 Robert Smith on the black 490 Mega 2 Michael. And as I said, there is already a video with an in-depth look at this bike. If you're interested, just search my YouTube channel and you'll find it. But it's quite a nice looking piece of kit, because the pictures for that bike were taken soon after it was finished construction. So we're looking at number 55 there, Keith Barnes on the CCM. So Keith's still circulating at a decent rate of knots as he comes round to try and catch Mark Brockhurst, who I think is currently still in that second position. But Keith's only got a few more turns to try and catch Mark Brockhurst, because this is the last and final lap of this race. But nevertheless, I think even a third place finish will certainly be a good result for Keith on that CCM. But here's your race leader and winner of this race. It's going to be number 291. It's going to be Robert Smith, who's going to take the checkered flag in first position, and it's going to be Mark Brockhurst who comes round to take that coveted second place position. But still a third place finish for Keith Barnes on the CCM. So now we're up to race 20, and this again is another race for the pre-1984 aged 58 years and over. And on the right hand side there you can see number 81 Chris Cannon. Next to Chris is Keith Burse on his JBR Honda. So still some quite quick riders in this class as they get ready to wait for the gate to drop. As they head into turn 1, Chris Cannon's made another good start there as they go into turn 1. So it looks like Chris Cannon's got the whole shot on his RM Suzuki. It looks like Chris Rogerson has also made a good start. Remember, I think Chris had a bit of mechanical problems with his Michael in the previous race, but it appears to have sorted whatever was wrong with it, because I think he's currently in second position, chasing Chris Cannon's Suzuki. So as they emerge from the top end of the racetrack, it appears to be Chris Cannon, your race leader, from number 511, Chris Rogerson. It looks like Andy Barnes is sitting there in third place on the 490 Micro, and it's David Loudon there on the YZ 490 Yamaha who's currently in fourth, and just behind David we have Graham Smith on the IT 250 Yamaha. So as we begin lap one, there's not a lot to separate this first half dozen riders in this class, but it's still Chris Cannon with the advantage over Chris Rogerson in second position. It looks like Andy Barnes is still currently in third, but as they come round to complete lap one, it's still Chris Cannon. I think that's an RM 400 that Chris is riding. Andy Barnes is now up into second position as David Loudon now passes Chris Rogerson for that third placed position. So it looks like a few changes on lap two, but it's still Chris Cannon who leads number 155. That's Andy Barnes, who's now in second position, and David Loudon currently in third. So David again is going very well on the YZ 490 Yamaha. So Chris Cannon has certainly been in quite good form here at Wittas Park this afternoon, because he's certainly running there at the sharp end of this race. So it's still Andy Barnes at number 155 in second position. David Loudon is currently still third, and Chris Rogerson is in fourth place on the Big Michael. So your race leader is Chris Cannon as he comes round to complete another racing lap, but I think we could see a challenge for this front track position, because Andy Barnes is certainly looking like he wants a piece of the action at the front. It's still David Loudon in third, with that man there, number 233, Graham Smith, on the IT 250 Yamaha in fourth position. But I do hope you're enjoying this brand new look here on Classic Dirt Bike TV, which of course is now completely advert free, so you don't have to sit down and watch those annoying ads just before the start of any of my videos. But of course the downside of having an ad-free channel is that I no longer make any revenue from my YouTube channel, where in actual fact it tends to cost me money to keep everything ticking over. So I do hope you appreciate all the time and the effort for putting these videos together. So as our front runners come round to complete another lap, it looks like Andrew Barnes has managed to pass Chris Cannon for track position. So he's our brand new race leader now, number 155, Andrew Barnes on the 490 Micro. So this has been a good ride here by Andy on that big Mega 2 Micro. So that obviously drops Chris Cannon down to second place, and he was riding very well at the front of this pack, but you can see that Andy Barnes is already starting to stretch out a slight gap on this man here, number 81 Chris Cannon, who I still think has one or two of these RM Suzukis left in his workshop. He did have a decent collection at one time, but not anymore. There's your third placed man, number 75, David Loudon. He's just ahead of number 233, that's Graham Smith on the 250 Yamaha. But this has been another good race here for David Loudon. He goes very well on these YZ 490s, so he's coming across the line here in third position to start another racing lap. So we're looking to the top side of the racetrack to pick up our race leader. It's still number 155 Andrew Barnes on the 81 490 Michael. So Andy looking very comfortable at this stage as he comes round the top berm section of the racetrack, and when Andy crosses the line this time he'll be starting his last and final lap of this race. But it's still Chris Cannon in second position. So you can see that since Andrew Barnes has got past Chris Cannon, he's certainly stretched his lead, because he's coming up to cross the line to begin his last and final lap of this race. So this will be a good win for Andrew if he manages to take the checkered flag next time around. There's your second place man, number 81 Chris Cannon. But Chris will still be well chuffed with that second place finish. So we're going to stick with our race leader as he negotiates the last few turns of this final lap. So this has been quite a good race for this man, and he fully deserves the win. So it looks like Andy Barnes is going to secure his first win of the day. Chris Cannon is still currently in second position, but here he comes, just one more turn to go. So as he takes the checkered flag, it's the first win of the day for number 155 Andrew Barnes, and just coming across the line now is second place man number 81 Chris Cannon, and it will be David Loudon, number 75, who will take that final podium position. So we're going to move straight on into race 21, and these are the pre-sim 77s, under 60s, and of course including those 125s. Quite a good collection of bikes in this combined class, and you can see the weather still absolutely beautiful here at Wittas Park. So we're just waiting on our starter, Stuart Riddle, dropping the gate. It looks like a good start by Mark Silverton there, number 51 on the CR 125 Honda. So Mark Silverton has made the early blast, and it looks like it's number 416 Mike McClurty there in second position. But I must say, these little 125s have certainly been good entertainment this afternoon here at Wittas Park. We've seen some quite good scraps and some good racing from these guys on the little 125s, but here's the battle at the front, and it's still Mark Silverton who leads Mike McClurty, who tries to go round the outside on the track, but it looks like Mark Silverton's managed to keep a hold of that track position as they come across the tabletop to complete lap one. So it's number 51 Mark Silverton who leads number 416 Mike McClurty. Now, there's not been many riders who have managed to pass Mike McClurty this afternoon, but Mark Silverton appears to have got the early advantage. So it's Mike McClurty in second, and Liston Bell on the big Jawa is currently in third position. And who was it that said that these old British classic Rickman Matisse frames don't handle well? Because there's Liston Bell looking like he's going to move up into second position. So Liston Bell is absolutely flying on that big Jawa machine, and he looks like he could pass Mark Silverton. So it's quite a contrast here between the two little light, nimble and quick 125s against Liston Bell's big grunter of a Jawa. And it looks like Liston Bell is now our new race leader as they head up the hill. So there's the man at the front, number 98, Liston Bell. Second position is number 416, Mike McClurty, and it's currently Mark Silverton in third, and of course Mike McClurty and Mark Silverton both riding those little CR Honda 125 two-strokers. So as our race leaders complete another lap, it's still number 98 Liston Bell who leads this man here, number 416 Mike McClurty, and it'll be interesting to see if Mike can still pass Liston. So Liston Bell certainly going well on that vintage Jawa Scrambles machine. And there you can see Mike McClurty closing in as they make their way up the hill, both riders just passing. That looks like number 246 there, that's Ian Ward riding his very nice BSA. But it looks like Mike McClurty's managed to sneak past Liston. Liston got a bit of a slide on there as he took the turn, but Mike McClurty certainly pounced on that advantage and currently now leads, but Liston's trying to go round the outside but can't make it stick. But this is a good race here between these two different machines, the little 125 Honda and the big British made frame with the Czechoslovakian Jawa engine in the chassis. So a good race developing between number 416 Mike McClurty and number 98 Liston Bell. So this is the last and final lap of this race, so we'll see if Liston can do anything about that very light and nimble Honda CR125. Now I suppose in theory you'd expect that big four-stroke Jawa bike of Liston's to be able to keep up and even pass that little 125 of Mike McClurty's, but of course two totally different kinds of machines. I'm sure that's a 1960s bike that Liston's riding, whereby Mike McClurty's little Honda's from 1989, but two totally different types of technology, but still a good race between the big Jawa four-stroker and Mike McClurty's little 125 two-stroke. So we've just a few turns to go before the checkered flag, and as I've said, Mike McClurty's certainly been the dominant force in the little 125 class here at Wittas Park, and it looks like he's going to manage to keep Liston at arm's length as he comes round to take another win and the checkered flag, and it's going to be Liston Bell who's going to cross the line in that second position as we take a look at number 154. That's Gillian Murray, one of the lady riders, still going well on her old Can-Am machine. So now we're up to race 22. This is the pre-77s over 60s and over 65. So again, these are the veterans of the Classic Club. Looks like Peter Gerrard's made quite a good start there, but looks like Andy Malik has now got the advantage as they go into turn two. So it's Andy Malik on the 360 or 380 CZ who is your early leader. Peter Gerrard looks like he's currently in second position. So again, Andy Malik's made quite a good start. He won, of course, that previous race in this class, so he's certainly off to a flyer once again here on his Czechoslovakian CZ, or CZ if you're watching this in the USA, because I know that you guys out there pronounce these bikes different than we do here in Europe. So here we have Andy Malik, number 43 on his CZ. Number 43 is Peter Gerrard in second position, and it's Mike Bell, number 9 on the BSA Gold Star, who's currently in third. So Mike Bell again doing well here this afternoon, and it's like Mike's trying to move up into second position. And I suppose if I was still racing myself, this would be the class that I would be placed in, but I doubt if I could match the speed of some of these riders. But this man here at number 43, Andy Malik, is just crossed the line to complete lap 1 in second position. It looks like it's still Peter Gerrard there in second at number 43 on that BSA. And as I said, Peter is the man that makes those CZ gear shifter mechanisms. And that man in the blue there, number 98 or 89, is Mike Bell. And just behind Mike, it looks like that could be John Sinnott at number 411, also riding a CZ. So these guys might be the more mature riders in the Scottish Classic Club, but you can see they still have a decent turn of speed on these old bikes. There's your race leader just going through, number 43, Andy Malik, and it's still number 34, Peter Gerrard, in second position. John Sinnott looks like he's going to go down the outside and take that second place position, so it's now John Sinnott in second place as Andy Malik crosses the line to start another racing lap. But I do hope you've enjoyed all of the racing footage that we've brought you from this round 2 event here at Wittas Park, between some of the bikes around the paddock and of course all of these races on the track, because it's been quite a busy week for me, but eventually we did manage to get it all completed. So here's your race leader, number 43, Andy Malik, on the 360 or 380 CZ. Number 9 again is Mike Bell in second position on the BSA Gold Star. So Mike Bell has been going very well here this afternoon, so he should be justifiably proud of his performance at this round 2 event. Number 601 just going through there is Mark Witham, and it looks like Mark's just got the advantage of John Sinnott now, so Mark Witham will be up into third position. But here's the man of the moment, number 43, Andy Malik, as he makes his way round the top section of the racetrack. So we're back with our second place man, number 89, Mike Bell, who is of course the husband of our Scottish Classic Scramble Club's chairperson, Creena Bell. And both Creena and Mike certainly do a lot for the club with regards all of the admin and organisation. So we're looking at our third placed rider, number 601, that's Mark Witham. He's still having his little dice there with number 411, John Sinnott, but here's your second place man crossing the line to start his last and final lap. It's still number 89, Mike Bell, on his lovely sounding BSA Gold Star. So there's your race leader on his last and final lap. It looks like Andy Malik's that far ahead that he could stop for a cup of coffee and then remount again and still win this race, but he's doing very well here at the front as he completes the last 2 or 3 turns before the checkered flag. But it's going to be a win for this man here, number 43, Andy Malik, and again a nice well-earned second place for that man there, number 9, Mike Bell. So that brings us round to race 23, the penultimate race of the day, or even the last but one, if you'd like it that way. This is the pre-1984s under-aged 58 years. It looked like a couple of riders got stuck in the gate there as it dropped, but right at the front there it looks like Graham Riley has got the whole shot, so whatever mechanical issues Graham had with that bike in the previous race, he's certainly got it sorted, because he's up and running at the front of the pack again. So you can see that Graham Riley already has a decent lead over second place man, number 291, Robert Smith, on the Michael. I'm just trying to work out who that number 3 bike is in third place. I think that could be Jeff Wharton, or Jeffrey Wharton, who's currently in third. So here's your race leader already coming round to complete lap 1. So Graham Riley absolutely motoring on that big 480 Honda as he pushes it into the berm to slingshot around the corner. Second place is number 291, that's Robert Smith going through there. I think it is Jeffrey Wharton who's currently in third. But as you know, Graham Riley suffered that mechanical failure in the last race and ended up with a DNF, so whatever he's done, he's sorted it by the looks of it, because this bike is up and flying once again. So there's your race leader, number 711, Graham Riley on the 480CR Honda 2-stroke. Second position is number 291, a rider who's also had a very good afternoon here this weekend. That was Robert Smith, but Graham Riley comes round to complete another lap. There's Robert Smith currently in second position, so Robert again going very well on that 490 Michael. And who knows if Graham's bike hadn't suffered that mechanical breakdown in the previous race, he could have been on for a full list of wins here this afternoon, but he's certainly up and running again in this under 58 years of age pre-1984 race. There's number 231, that's Jeffrey Wharton on the big Myco, the big 490 Myco. So Jeffrey also riding very well. Now, I may be wrong here, but I think that bike belongs to Maurice Wharton. So I think Jeffrey could be a family member riding that bike. That was Mark Brockhurst just blasting his way past there. And Mark is just ahead of number 72 there. That's George Dodgson, who's already had a good workout on that bike this afternoon, so he's certainly getting his money's worth at this round 2 event here at Wittas Park. But here's your race leader coming across the tabletop to come round to complete another lap. It's still Graham Riley on that super quick 480 Honda. So Graham Riley is still your race leader, and it should still be Robert Smith who comes across the line in second position. It is Robert Smith just blasting his way through. We're just trying to pick up who is currently in third. Looks like that could be Jeffrey Wharton, with that's Mark Brockhurst just behind Jeffrey, who goes tries to take that tight line, but looks like Jeff Wharton has managed to hold on to that track position as they both blast up the hill. So at least now we're able to name that number 94 rider. We were struggling a bit in the previous episode because we didn't know the rider's name, but we do now know that it's Mark Brockhurst there, just behind Jeffrey Wharton. So these two certainly looking like there could be a nice scrap developing in this race. So we're looking at Robert Smith coming across the line to complete another lap. But these two are certainly going at it to fill the third and fourth place positions as they come across the tabletop almost together. But looks like Mark Brockhurst is taking that tighter line into the corner, and he now has the advantage. So Mark Brockhurst is now moved up into third place position, so Jeffrey Wharton will have to try that a little bit harder to try and retain and get back that track position. So it looks like Graham Riley is now back to his winning ways after his bad result in the previous race with mechanical issues. So as he comes across the tabletop for the last time, it looks like it's going to be another win for this man here, number 711, Graham Riley. So well done to Graham, and it's going to be Robert Smith who comes across the line in second. But we want to see who's going to take that third and fourth place position. So as they come up the tabletop, it looks like it's going to be third place for Mark Brockhurst, and looks like Jeffrey Wharton is going to have to settle for fourth position. So that brings us on to race 24, and we finally made it to the last and final race of the day. These are the pre-1984 aged 58 years and over. So I do hope you've enjoyed everything that we've brought you from this round 2 event here at Ian Ridley's lovely Wittas Park. So as the gate drops once again and the riders head into turn 1, David Loudon's made a good start there on the outside on the YZ Yamaha, but it looks like it's Andrew Barnes on the big Michael who has the whole shot. So we're just looking to the far end of this Wittas Park landscape, and it still looks like it's number 155, Andrew Barnes on the Michael in first position. Second is David Loudon on the YZ Yamaha. Graham Smith is currently in third on the IT250 Yamaha, and I think that's number 81, Chris Cannon on the Suzuki, who's currently in fourth position. So as our riders come around to complete lap 1, as I said, it doesn't take these guys very long to complete a lap of this Wittas Park racetrack, but it's still at number 155, Andrew Barnes, your race leader. Second is David Loudon. Third is Graham Smith. Fourth is that man there, number 81, Chris Cannon on the twin shock Suzuki. So you can see that Chris Cannon there, number 81, has a bit of work to do to try and catch those three riders in front. So it's still currently Andrew Barnes, your race leader, from number 75, David Loudon. Graham Smith is still in third position, but this has been another good ride here by Andrew Barnes on the 490 German made Michael, or even Mako, because I do know that some of the guys in the USA do pronounce those bikes in a different dialect from us here in the UK. So there's your race leader, Andrew Barnes, as he heads up the hill and comes round to complete another lap. So this has been another very good ride here by Andrew Barnes as he comes across that tabletop and comes round the last bend to start another racing lap. So this has been a very good performance from this talented rider. Number 75 is David Loudon, currently in second position on the YZ 490 monoshock Yamaha. Graham Smith is still currently in third. But it's certainly been a fantastic day weather-wise, because we were here at this track last year in July and it was absolutely Baltic, freezing cold in the middle of July, but it's certainly been very nice here this afternoon. So we're currently looking at number 81, Chris Cannon, trying to make a move on Graham Smith's IT250 Yamaha. But not forgetting, we have to give a big shout out to the track owner Ian Ridley, who prepares this track for each race event. Ian has some nice machines that he can grade the track before an event, and he's certainly done us proud for this round 2 here at his Wittas Park facility. So well done to you, Ian Ridley. So there's your race leader just going through. Andrew Barnes. Second is still number 75, David Loudon. Graham Smith is still currently in third. And as I said, if this is the kind of stuff that you like to look at here on YouTube, then don't forget to hit that like button, or better still, why not just subscribe to my channel, because that way every time I upload a video you will be the first to be notified. And of course it's all entirely free. So we're back with our race leader, number 155, Andrew Barnes. It looks like Andrew's got quite a decent gap between himself and the second placed man, which of course was David Loudon on the last lap, but Andrew's coming across the tabletop once again to complete another racing lap. So this has been a good performance from this young man. So just behind Andrew, it should be number 75, David Loudon on the Yamaha. Third position now is still Chris Cannon, with number 233 there, Graham Smith, chasing Chris for that third placed position. Now, of course, we don't always just cover classic racing here on my YouTube channel. We do certain features on old classic bikes, so that's another reason to subscribe to my channel if you're into these old school classic race machines. But we are back with our race leader, Andrew Barnes, number 155, so he still is certainly in command of this last race of the day at this Scottish Classic Round 2 event here at Wittas Park. So when Andrew comes around this time, he'll be beginning his last and final lap of this race. So Andrew's still comfortable there in first position. Second, it's still David Loudon. Third, it's Chris Cannon, number 81, and Graham Smith is still on Chris Cannon's back wheel, trying to get past his quite fast Suzuki. So you can see it's quite a tight bunch for this second, third and fourth placed positions. David Loudon is still going well there in second place. Chris Cannon in third. Graham Smith is in fourth. It looked like Chris was going to try and go down the inside, but I think it's going to be quite an easy win for number 155, Andrew Barnes. And these are the best of the rest in this race, but here's your race leader coming round to take the checkered flag for his efforts on the day. So it's going to be another very good win for number 155, Andrew Barnes. And we're just waiting on our second place man coming through, and it looks like it's going to be Chris Cannon who's going to take that second place from David Loudon, who crosses the line in third position. Well, there you have it. That just about concludes everything that went down over the course of the day's racing here at this round 2 event at Wittas Park for the Scottish Classic Scramble Club. But don't forget, the club will be back here again in August for round 3, but unfortunately I won't be here to cover that round 3 event due to other family commitments. But my next outside Scramble broadcast will of course be next weekend, which will be the fantastic Helsington Classic Scramble for the West
Moorland Motor Club. And don't forget, you can see all of those bikes and all of the action on the track here on my YouTube channel very soon after my return. But I hope you've enjoyed everything that we brought you from this round 2 event here at Wittas Park. And again, a big thanks to Ian Ridley for his fantastic venue. So from all of us here at Classic Dirt Bike TV, until the next time, it's goodbye for now.